If you work in customer service, what's the one thing you never thought you would have to explain to an adult?
Hi, welcome to Target Guest Services. What can I do for you today? Hi, yeah, I want to return this. Okay, well, unfortunately, this actually isn't ringing up in our system. Is there any way you could have bought it online or at a further location? Oh, I didn't get it here. I got it at Walmart. You realize this is Target, right? Yeah, but you two are, like, connected. No, in fact, they're our direct competitor. Hi, welcome to T4. What can I get started for you today? I'll have a honey jasmine milk tea with no sweetness. The honey is the sweetness, so if we took it out, it would just be a regular jasmine milk tea. No, still put honey in it, but no sweet honey. How? Target Guest Services, what can I do for you? I want to return this. But it's empty. Welcome in, ma'am. Oh, if I could have you just put on your mask before I serve you, that would be great. Well, he's not wearing one. He's eating. Well, I'm sure he can figure out a way to eat with the mask on.
Thank you for calling customer service. We appreciate your frustration. My name is Sticks. How can I be of assistance?
Your man has my bag.
Pardon me?
Well, when I arrived at your airport, the man in the parking lot said he accepted cash only to check passengers' bags in for them.
And you paid him?
Well, yes, we were in a little bit of a rush. Why wouldn't we take advantage of one of your convenient services?
Because that ain't one of our convenient services.
Come again?
So a random man in the airport parking lot approached you and said he accepted cash only to take your bag.
Why, yes. Doesn't he work for you?
Was he wearing anything to imply that he worked for anybody? Any badges, a vest, something?
So where's my bag?
You paid somebody to steal it from you.
Boy, I've been waiting on this one. A lady came into a bank that I used to work at, yelling, cussing, screaming, talking about we stole her money from her. So after a long time, we finally get to pull up her account after she calmed down enough to give us her account number and her ID. So I pull up her account and I'm like, ma'am, you withdrew all this money from the ATM and you overdrafted your account on purpose. She's arguing, no, I withdrew that money from the ATM. I withdrew that money from the ATM. I withdrew it from the ATM. And I'm like, yes, the money in your account you withdrew from the ATM. She literally didn't understand what I was talking about. So I showed her the transactions, all the ATM transactions. And she's like, no, that's not supposed to come out of my account. It's supposed to come out of the ATM. And I'm like, yeah, the ATM that accesses your account when you withdraw the money. Bruh, she thought the ATM money was free. I put that on everything. She thought the
Hi, welcome to Starbucks. What can I get for you? Yeah, can I get an iced coffee? But can you put the ice in the bottom? Do you want extra ice? No, I just want the ice in the bottom. I don't like when it floats to the top. I can't control physics.
I work at Krispy Kreme, right? And we had this really long line inside the lobby. Lady comes up to me. She's like, hey, can you heat up my maple donut in your microwave? I'm like, A, we can't do that. And B, we don't have a microwave, right? Another person comes up right after her. They heard me say words out of my mouth, right? And then the next person's like, hey, can you heat up my glazed donut in the microwave? I said, sir, the microwave still doesn't exist. We still can't do that. Then he's like, fine, what if I pay extra? I said, that will not make it exist yet. It's not real. Then a third person comes up and he's like, I have a hair in my donut from the young lady. I said, sir, it's an all-male staff tonight. And he just went, fuck you. So there's that, you know.
If you work in customer service, what's the one thing you never thought you would have to explain to an adult? I'll go first. A woman called me and asked where her item for delivery was. I asked her, what's the date that you placed your order? She gave me the date of 2 days prior. I reminded her that when she purchased the item, she agreed and acknowledged the fact that it would take a week for her item to arrive. And she said, yeah, I'm aware of that, but it's been 2 days. Where is it? So I said, well, if it's been 2 days and it takes a week, then there are 5 days left. It'll be there in 5 days. And she said no. And so I said, well, when did you expect it to arrive? And she said, by now. And I said, but it hasn't been a week. And she insisted that it had. So I was like, ma'am, how many days do you think are in a week? Then she hung up and we never heard from her again.
I don't work at this job anymore, but a reenactment is really the only way to explain the entire situation. Hi, I picked up these prescription sunglasses like a week ago, and I'm having an issue with them. I was hoping to speak to somebody. Oh, hi, yeah, I'm an optician. I actually remember those. I even personally made them. What seems to be the problem? Okay, so when I put them on when I go outside, I can see great. Absolutely no problem. Okay. But when I go back inside and I take them off, I can't see anything. Hang on, let me make sure I have this straight. So when you take off your sunglasses indoors, you're having issues seeing, but are you putting on regular glasses when you go inside? No, these are for outdoors. Why would I wear them inside? I won't be able to see anything. Yeah, no, I get that, but I'm looking at your chart and you have a -5 prescription, so you should be wearing glasses or contacts all the time. No, these are my prescription and they are sunglasses. I'm not going to wear them inside. I should be able to see when I take them off.
Dry wine is still wet. There's no powdered wine that you just add to water to turn water into wine like you're frickin' Jesus or something. Dry wine just means the wine is not sweet. Doesn't mean that it is some granulated frickin' Kool-Aid drink crystal thing. So if you're sent to the store for dry red wine and I say, here's a dry red wine, don't look me in the eye and say, no, you dumbass, that's wet. I can't believe I forgot this one. Years ago, I had this woman come into my store. I go to put her bottles up on the counter so I can scan them, and she says, oh no, you have to type in the number. You can't use lasers on there, it degrades the vodka. I'm looking at her kind of funny. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I always keep my vodka in the freezer. And lately, it started to freeze. And my teenage son said it's because of the lasers. The lasers break down the vodka, and the molecules turn to water. I'm giving her a look. I'm like, are you sure your son's just not, replacing it with water after he drinks it? Oh, no, he's a good boy. He'd never touch alcohol until he's legal. This woman would come in every now and then, and you would have to remember the number for her Smirnoff vodka because you couldn't touch it because the lasers would break it down. Lasers.
Excuse me, I was here like 4 months ago and my whole order was wrong, so I'm gonna need a refund. 4 months ago? Do you have a receipt? No, I don't have a receipt, but it was $40 and I paid in cash, so... Yeah, so I can't refund that without a receipt. But did you call us by any chance to let us know that your order was wrong? Yes, I talked to a manager named John. We've never had a manager named John, so unfortunately I can't help you. What do you mean you can't help me? You're just gonna steal my money? I can't do a cash refund without any proof of purchase. Well, why not? You have a cash drawer. Why can't you open it and give me some money? I'm sorry, is this like a really bad robbery or what's going on?
So I used to work at a coffee shop, and this lady came in and ordered an almond milk latte with whipped cream. And as I'm taking the order, she's telling me how she's lactose intolerant, blah, blah, blah. So I look at her and I said, are you sure you want whipped cream then? Because whipped cream is dairy. Like, why would you want whipped cream? And she tells me, oh no, whipped cream is fine because it's non-dairy. And I said, no, like whipped cream is made with heavy whipping cream. It is like as dairy can get. And she says, well, when I go to the grocery store, I buy whipped cream and it's dairy free. And I said, well, that's whipped topping, not whipped cream. That's made with hydrogenated vegetable oil. That's a little bit different. She proceeds to scream at me, threatening to sue, saying that she's been having stomach problems for months and this is all our fault. And then this little old lady behind her taps her on the shoulder and says, honey, it's not her fault. You're a fucking moron.
This icy I just bought, I don't want it anymore. What? This icy is too cold. You want me to put it in the microwave? Okay, smartass, that's incredibly rude. How about you go get your boss? Yo. Hi, I just bought this icy from this gentleman and I want to return it because it's too cold. Well, ma'am, you can't return... Wait, what? I said this icy is too cold. Bitch, you want me to put it in the microwave?
That the front desk agents at a hotel are not a babysitting service. This old white couple checked in and said, hey, can you guys watch our baby? And we were like, no, we cannot. They said the front desk people at their last hotel watched their baby. I was all like, well, that's not in our job description, so no. They checked into their hotel and they came by really dressed up later on that night. I was like, how can I help y'all? They said, we want to go out and there's no one to watch our kid. I was all like, okay, and They said nothing. They started to chuckle and they walked away and they got into the elevator. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I hear breathing on the other side of the desk. Tell me how they left their child when they were talking to me. They tried to pull a fast one on me because I was working by myself. I said, that's fine. There's a little non-emergency contact number that we can call for our hotel. So I called that number and said there's a missing child. That part. And people really do get butthurt when you tell them, no, you can't watch their kid. This does happen in retail often, and this is exactly how people get their kids abducted. Because they're not watching them, especially on like busy days at convenience stores or like retail stores or whatever, kids will get snatched. I mean snatched. And honestly, a lot of these issues would be solved if, one, people stop abducting kids, but two, people just watch their goddamn kids. If you don't feel like watching your kids when you go out, don't take them. Do not take them. Take the extra like $10 to $15 or $20 or $30 to hire a sitter, bro. Just hire a sitter. If you have the money to drive to the grocery store, you have the money to hire a sitter. Like, people are ridiculous. It gets me so angry when people will come to the grocery store with their bad behind kid and then try to get a random behind worker to watch them while they go do something. No, absolutely not.
Buckle up. Here comes a Spencer story. So for those of you who don't know, I used to work at Spencer's. And one day a woman came in and bought something from the back of the store. She brought her handy little didgeridoo up to the front and I checked her out. She asked me my opinion of her personal pickle that she was about to purchase. And I said, it's great. I would give it a 10. She said, cool, and left. 15 minutes later, she comes back into the store, upset. She walks up to the counter and places her unopened, recently used Hot Pocket Pal on the counter. She looks at me and says, I'd give it a 3. I want my money back. And I said, ma'am, we don't do returns for this type of transaction. This is boldly gone where most people have not gone before. It passed go and we cannot collect $200. It passed a point of no return. It did a great Your Space Odyssey. And she said, I sprayed it with Windex. And I said, even though it's streak free, we can't have it back. I made $7 an hour at that job.
Okay, this is fun. So I'm a hairstylist, and about 3 months after this girl's appointment, she called me and she was like, you know, your color line isn't working. It's faded really bad. I really need to come in for a correction. And I was like, okay, so where do you see the fading? Like, you know, how much different is it? And she was like, it's by my roots. It's like right by my scalp. And I was like, okay, so that actually is just your new growth. So what we'll do is we'll book that for a color retouch and we'll touch that up for you. She said, is it free? I said, no, ma'am, that's your regrowth. We'll book you as a color retouch. And she said to me, my hair doesn't grow from my scalp. It grows from the ends. How does that even make sense? So I had to explain to her how hair grows from your scalp and not the ends of her hair, so it was not free to fix.
This is not really nothing to explain, but this is just a little rant. If your total came out to $17.67 and you already gave me the $20 bill and I already put it in the register, I don't want to hear about the 50 cents you found. Keep the same energy. Because now I got to mess around. You give me the 50 cents. I got to mess around, do the Pythagorean theorem, trying to figure out your change. I'm not a calculator, ma'am.
Oh, thank God. I get to talk about my favorite customer of all time. So I worked at an Elevation Burger back in 2012. If you don't know what an Elevation Burger, it's just a fast food joint that thinks it's better than you. And a customer walked in, business attire, mid-40s, had a Bluetooth headset and was talking into it with, it seemed to be a client of some type. And then he looked up at our menu, looked at me, and then went, all right, excuse me for a moment. Excuse me, what is a grilled cheese? And I said, it is cheese that we put between slices of bread and then we grill it. And he goes, okay, thank you. And then keeps talking on his Bluetooth and walks away like a grilled cheese ghost.
Okay, so like 15 years ago, I used to work at JCPenney in the mall, and this woman walks in one time with a cart full of stuff, which I thought was weird because we don't have carts. And it was like already past closing time, but we hadn't like shut the big gate or whatever. And so she walks in, she asked me to like check her stuff out, and so I start using the little gun to do it, and I keep getting these error codes. So I try to type in the barcode instead, and that's when I look at the tags on all of her merchandise, and I realized that they are from many, many, many different stores. And I was like, oh, none of this is from JCPenney. And she was like, yeah, like, I know. Check it out. Like, I'm ready to pay now. And I was like, no, ma'am, like, that's not how it works. Like, you can't pay for your Claire's stuff and your Walden Book stuff and your Carson stuff at JCPenney. None of this is from JCPenney. Like, I cannot take this money, and like, you ma'am, you stole this stuff.
If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. And subscribe. We publish new videos every day.